Hey, hi guys. Um, Welcome to today's hangout. Um, I'm sorry about the time. I A few things popped up that I kind of need to take care of, so I'll not be able to stream at our usual time. So I bumped it up to 3 p.m. my time. Um, yeah, but if you do miss it, you can always just catch the recap on YouTube. So yeah, let's just get into it. I'd kind of plan to do like a framework comparison with Slim, Symphony, and some of the other guys, but let's do that next week. Um, yeah, let's do that next week. So this week I'll just um sort of just show everything we've done throughout the whole month because today's the final day of January, which is pretty cool. Um, yeah, so let's just get into it. By the way, I put out this blog post yesterday. So if you haven't read it, you can just check it out because it has pretty much everything I'll talk about today. So if you want like a simple put together version that you can just glance through, you can just check the article on our blog.leafphp.dev. And yeah, okay. So if you've already read this, just as I said, January was kind of packed. A lot happened in January. Um, Lots of releases, lots of new features, lots of bug fixes, tiny improvements. So if you've checked any of our previous Hangouts, it's been like very small, very tiny improvements. And yeah, there've been a lot of those in January. So there's actually a whole lot which has changed. But then you probably might not notice it because we've been pushing very tiny things for quite a while now. So um yeah. So for the big ones first, for the big ones, um, Leaf MVC4 Alpha, we've been talking about that for a few weeks. Alpha is out. We've been getting quite a lot of feedback. We're supposed to release the beta today, so I put out. It was actually supposed to be last week, but then the delay was for this week. Today actually, but that might be delayed a little bit more. Um, for another reason I'll talk about. But yeah, so far the feedback has been good. I think the only thing we need to stress test on MVC4 is schema files. The view layer rewrite has been looking good. So far we've not had any problems with that, no problems at all. So that's good. Schema files they work fine. So far for like the most basic use cases has been really good. Um, For more advanced cases, though, schema files try to automatically diff your database for you. Like try to compare your previous state of the database, the new state of the database, and like try to do all of that stuff automatically. Um, so yeah, even with that, it's worked pretty fine, at least for me. But then we've had people who have like very tiny issues that probably need to be fixed. So all of those would go into the beta release. Um, so yeah, so that's like kind of like another reason for the delays. Um, but yeah, so far MVC4 has been really good. I like personally like how lightweight it is and how I don't have to like scroll through lots of files. It's been really good. And then the automation from the CLI has also been just amazing. So yeah, Leaf MVC4 Alpha looking good. Da, 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 yeah, so all of this is kind of like features of MVC4. I won't stay here too long. So yeah, that's pretty much it. You can check it out yourself if you already haven't. Beta would can't give a certain date yet. We'll talk about another reason why that has kind of been like delayed a little bit more. So as usual, if you guys have any questions, anything that pops up during the stream, just leave in the comments and I'll check it out. So um yeah, that that's kind of how it is for MVC 4. I think I got a question. I don't remember if I replied to this. There was something about how to do, was it like relationships with the schema file? I actually don't remember where the comment was from. Um, yeah, so schema files try to sort of allow you set up relationships with the YML schema, that kind of thing. But then, depending on how complicated your relationships are, you probably might have to set up as an individual table. So for an example, if you're doing a kind of relationship where you might have like a middle table between two different tables, you still have to create that table as a schema file. So um, you can't just set that here as a relationship. Can't actually edit. Okay. Um, yeah. So pretty much every single table in your database is going to have its own schema file. So that's like the only thing you need to keep in mind. Um, yeah, I don't think it's strange because if you're working with migration, you would have to write a migration for that table. So it's kind of like the same thing, the schema files. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's see. Yeah, that's everything about MVC4. The next thing was, yeah, all that I talked about. So in January, we've been trying to make everything just faster, easier, better, more powerful. If there's any automation we can do for you, we tried to do it for you. Yeah, of course, there's a lot more, and then you'll be seeing more of those in February too. So we're just trying to automate as many things as possible. If there's anything you need to set up, we try to set it up for you. Modules, features, and all of that. Um, yeah, so there'll be like a lot more coming up in February, and um, it's going to be for both Leaf and then Leaf MVC. So like for the past couple of months, we've been focusing a lot on Leaf MVC, especially version 4, but then version 3.9, 3.10 have a lot of features for version 4. But yeah, we're trying to bring that same level of automation that Leaf MVC has back into Leaf. Um, so an example is we just looked at schema files. If you're working with Leaf, like without all of the MVC stuff, you probably have to write raw SQL to create your database. Or I mean, you can kind of use LeafDB to do that too, but you would have to write these SQL queries to create your database and then like create your database tables and all of that stuff. So people usually have like one file, whether it's SQL or PHP, and they sort of run that file before the application. So that sets up a database and all of that stuff. While it works, it's not pretty. I think that's like the easiest way to put it. It's not pretty. So an example would be being able to use schema files in like a basic Leaf application, not just Leaf MVC. So that way you can just create your schema files, run your migrations, share your schema files. So then that way you don't have to be sharing raw SQL and then stuff like that. And then you technically benefit from everything that um, Leaf MVC gets from schema files. So that's kind of those are like some of the tiny things we want to unify so that you don't have entirely different features when you're using Leaf MVC compared to when you're using Leaf because they are pretty much the same framework. So things shouldn't be that different. So that's another thing we're looking at. And everything I'm mentioning, we've kind of already started working on all of those. So you'll be seeing all of these being rolled out like bit by bit because we are doing this for pretty much every module. I think a lot of modules work with both Leaf MVC and Leaf. Pretty much everything does. But for the MVC tools, the ones you would usually find only when you're using Leaf MVC, we want to sort of port them to Leaf so people have an easier time. And you won't have to be referring to different sections of the documentation if you're using Leaf MVC versus if you're using Leaf. So um, yeah, I think that's just another thing. So we've kind of started on all of those. Um, just trying to refine some of the MVC features so we can put them back into Leaf. Um, not by default, obviously you'd have to run like a little module install script. So Leaf is not going to be bloated. It's pretty much the same thing. There's just going to be new modules which you can install for Leaf. Okay. So new integrations for Stripe, Paystack. So those started from paper plane, but then I've started moving some of those to Leaf and Leaf MVC. So pretty soon, so it's going to come. It's coming soon in February. After the paper plane release and all of that stuff. Because there's quite a lot of documentation to write there, and um, yeah, just like other modules, Leaf would have just a little different setup. Because like with Leaf MVC, we can kind of like hold your hand, do all the config for you. But then with Leaf, you'd have to sort of do that kind of yourself, kind of. Um, yeah, so we just have to make sure it works with both Leaf and Leaf MVC using the exact syntax, same syntax. The setup might be just a little different because Leaf MVC has a config folder. Leaf doesn't have any structure. So besides that, it's pretty much the same thing. Unified database layer, I talked about that. Automated front-end tooling. Yes, so generally we had a lot of front-end stuff. There was a whole lot of front-end stuff. From Blade. Blade got a lot of directives. So we tried to put all of the Laravel Blade directives into Leaf Blade. So we got some of those, and then we added a few more extras for Leaf MVC and then for Leaf itself. So Blade got like a massive power up. Besides that, there was also Tailwind 4. So Leaf supports Tailwind 4 now. When you run your view install command, it's Tailwind 4 that's set up for you, which is pretty cool because Tailwind 4 is like a Vite plugin. So I kind of like that setup. It's really cool. That was like some really amazing work from the Tailwind team. Yeah. So it's easier to set up, and then it just works better because all of it is Vite. So everything is just like one huge Vite component, and no matter what you're doing, all of your front end stuff just live inside Vite. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, so Tailwind, we are looking to add React 19 support. I think we're already on Vite 6. Yeah, we switched to Vite 6, I think also in January. What else is left? So yeah, like a lot of front end stuff was just made a whole lot better. And yes, you might not notice it because kind of like switching from Vite 4 to Vite 6 doesn't really change anything in your code. It becomes faster, but then you probably wouldn't notice any of those things. Um, but yeah, it's just a whole lot better front end support for everything: CSS, JavaScript, all of that stuff. Better performance and security enhancements. Yeah, we had a lot of those, and then there's a whole lot more to come, especially after we release our cache module. So there's supposed to be a cache module, though it's not of the highest priority right now, but that one cache module would boost performance by a whole lot because right now, kind of intentionally, we sort of leave some performance gaps in some of the modules just for usability enhancement. Um, so with the cache module, we can sort of close those up, and that'll just make Leaf and Leaf MVC a whole lot faster. So yeah, there's that. There's that. Um, yeah, paper plane for Leaf MVC was also another thing we decided to do in January. There's a starter kit for Leaf MVC. You can check some of our previous Hangouts. Everything you need is over there. Yeah, you can pre-order it now for like 50% off. So you can check that out. Um, Leaf Zero. Okay, so I talked about Leaf Zero some time ago, but then I actually really didn't um do talk much about it. Leaf Zero is going to be a bunch of components, page sections, templates, all of that stuff. For both Leaf and Leaf MVC, it's going to be built with Blade, Alpine, and then Tailwind. So currently, some of the Leaf Zero components, actually every Leaf Zero component is available in Pop Lane, and a lot more. This is 100% free though. Zero is 100% free. So you get a bunch of sections and all of those. But then for early access, then just in order to keep things fair to those who are actually buying the Pop Lane, we only give like early access components inside Kotlin, but then every other thing you see here is 100% free. So, um, so the whole idea is you'd be able to just copy and paste these components directly into your Leaf MVC or your Leaf application, and it'll just work right away. So, like usually, if you look for a UI kit online, the best you'd probably find is like Tailwind and Alpine. But then you still have to take off like all of the blade stuff yourself. So Zero is just fixing that for you. So it's just something to help you write the UIs faster. There's not much going on there, and it's free, as I said. So yeah, this will also be available in February. So February is we're seeing a lot. We're seeing a lot in February. Um, okay. Security, reliability. I kind of talked about that a little bit. Um, Yeah, but then we are making Leaf more secure as we can get it. Um, so we are leaving a lot of things to Leaf now, because if Leaf does them for you, that leaves like fewer gaps for you to do yourself. So yeah, we are working on a lot of stuff like that. Just was it last week or 2 weeks ago, we added account verification to Leaf Auth, um, and then a few more things. So it's going to get a lot better. We'll be adding a rate limiting module, which is file value, content security headers. I mean, you can kind of do them yourself, but then it would be nice if Leaf gives you good defaults and stuff like that. Yeah, and then just guides, more documentation on setting up infrastructure like servers and how to keep them secure, stuff like that. People playing and Leaf Zero, I just talked about it. You can pre-order 50% off, Leaf Zero free UI component, and both of them will be out in February. So you can look at that. So Leaf Sprout. Okay. So this if you're on Discord, you'd probably know of this issue. Um, so we use the Symfony console, by the way. So every time you type in Leaf into your console and something pops up, um, or if you use Leaf MVC and you type PHP Leaf, all of that stuff is powered by Symfony. So we use a Symfony um, console module, or I don't know what they call them. What do they call them? Plugins? You have no idea what Symfony calls their stuff. Components. I think they just call them components. Um, yeah. So that's what we run on. But then Symfony and Laravel, I don't know if it's because of like regulations or whatnot, but they kind of like always drop support for the previous PHP version or something like that. So yeah, I'm kind of like always playing catch up with them. Yeah. So yeah, long story short, there are times where you try to install Leaf CLI globally and it just doesn't work. You just can't get it installed. Yeah. So other times that also works with like so other times that also works with like the Leaf console. So like when you type PHP Leaf, some things just don't work. Actually, maybe the console. I haven't experienced that before, but so I've heard. Anyway, but then for the Leaf CLI itself, like when you try to install it globally, if you have probably like the latest version of Laravel installer already on your system, um you can't get Leaf CLI also installed because Composer keeps only one version of dependencies and stuff like that. So um yeah, instead of playing catch up or instead of cutting off PHP 7.4, which I should probably do by the way. But then the reason I'm not doing that now is it's just a whole lot of work. Um yeah, that's actually a lot of work. And then after that, I would still need to update all of the dependencies. And then Symfony Console version 7 is completely different from version, I don't even know what version I'm on, maybe 6 or 5. They are like completely different. So either way, I'll still be rewriting the whole console. So um yeah, I just thought working on a on a console module would just be much simpler. So that's Leaf Sprout. I have no idea where that record is. There we go. So Leaf Sprout is basically just a new console thing I'm working on, and it's going to be dependency free, so you can use it with any PHP version you want above 7.2 or something like that, and any framework or no framework at all. So it doesn't depend on any particular thing. First class support for Leaf, and it'll have a few things like built-in styling. I'm currently thinking of using Termwind, something like this. I don't know how what I can get out of this, but Nuno from Laravel and Francisco worked on Termwind, which kind of allows you to use Tailwind CSS inside your terminal. So I'm kind of planning on taking a bit of this and making that work in Sprout, plus a few more styling stuff. Yeah, so basically the API looks something like this. You can use just as with Leaf. So the whole idea is for the API to look kind of like Leaf, so you don't have to learn a whole new syntax. You can use functions or you can use classes just like you can in Leaf. Yeah, pretty much that's the whole idea. So I was kind of working on um, an example application here. So I'm kind of still building this. You can see this a whole lot of random stuff happening. Um, yeah, but basically the whole idea is just to have something simple, streamlined, straightforward. That just works with both classes and functions, stuff like that. And yeah, basically that's kind of like the whole idea. And then it comes to like first class support for prompts like this. Basically, you can check out the PHP Sprout. It's still a work in progress, so a lot of the stuff that I've written down here have not yet been built. The basic API is kind of done. That's why I have here. So I'm going to push that out in just a little bit. Um, so hopefully this should be done tonight, tomorrow. I don't know. And the next version of Leaf MVC version 4 and the Leaf CLI would be rolled out with this. I'm kind of keeping the class API pretty similar to what Symfony gives you, so that you don't once again need to learn something completely new. This is a bit new for people using the current version of Leaf MVC or Symfony Console version 5. But then if you're from Symfony Console version 7 or Laravel 0 or anything, then it's pretty much the same syntax. So you don't need to learn anything new. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's it for Leaf Sprout. So just a whole lot of things done automatically for you. So you can do stuff like style italic, style bold, um, or just apply tailwind stuff like style apply your tailwind to something else. Basically that's the idea. So yeah, I'm hoping to get this done today, tomorrow, so we can have our next Leaf CLI version, and then um, Leaf MVC 4 out. Yeah. So basically that's Leaf Sprout. You can always just check the GitHub repo to see what's up with that. Um, yeah, we had a bunch of hangouts, and actually today was supposed to be about comparing Laravel, Symfony, and Slim to Leaf. But then I'll do that next week. As I mentioned, a few things came up, so which is kind of why we're having our hangout so early. So yeah, next week we'll probably have this, just a little comparison: Leaf, Slim, Symfony, Laravel. Yeah. So a few more highlights from January. I talked about this auth verification. We had a few more router updates, which I forgot to put in a documentation. So I think this was it this week or last week? Probably maybe this week. Leaf got a little update that brings router view, which is kind of funny because Leaf already had router view, but then I had to take it out for the router because we removed Blade. We removed templating from Leaf by default. Um, yeah, so then we couldn't use router view because Leaf no longer shipped with template. But then, yeah, I just thought it doesn't really need to come. Leaf doesn't actually need to ship with it. We can just put the functions down, and if you have a template configured, Leaf will just pick it up. So that's kind of what Leaf does. If you have a template engine installed like Blade or Bear UI, it will just do its thing. But if you don't have it installed, then you get a little error because you're trying to use a function that doesn't exist, something like that. So yeah, basically Leaf router got the update. It's not yet in the documentation. Leaf HTTP also got a few updates. Response view that basically just allows you to render stuff, and then Retrigo. I hope I got the name correct. Push the fix for our user agent stuff. Yeah, mail FS, HTTP, and then a lot of other modules go like very small, once again, very small changes that you probably wouldn't notice. For all of them, I tried to update the documentation, but I totally forgot about the router bit. So I'll also update the documentation for that. Support for Tailwind V4, talked about that, talked about Blade, Deep CLI, got update. All right, so there's actually a big one, but then it's something you probably would definitely not notice. Um, so if you let me just switch to Leaf MVC. Sorry, I was still playing around with um the console stuff, and I think I kind of like broke Symfony console. Anyway, so the whole idea is if you try to use a Leaf CLI command inside the Leaf MVC project, Leaf CLI would not run the command through Leaf CLI. It would rather try to run it through the Leaf MVC console, which is why you see this here. But if I sort of move to a different directory, like maybe CD storage, where we don't have, like storage isn't a Leaf MVC project, it's kind of inside the Leaf MVC project. So if I run Leaf serve here, it would use, it will actually run it through Leaf CLI. So basically, that was kind of a very small but big update. Yeah, it was both small but big because especially for me, I usually make a mistake of doing something like leave serve in the project root. Without this update, it would try to start the project from the project root, which is fine for local dev, I guess. But then you don't. It kind of messes up. Does it actually mess up anything? I don't think it does. Anyway, yeah. So it's a little update, but big update. It just makes sure that the two consoles are kind of in sync. So if there is any command, for instance, like leave view dev, if the command exists in the leaf the Leaf MVC console, it will run that instead of using the Leaf TLI version. So that was a little cool update. Um, Concurrent mode for servers. Yeah, so if you run Leaf serve, it would run Vite and then which is your front end server, and then run the PHP server together in one thread. So you don't have to open your PHP server and then open your Vite server separately. So those are another small update, but quite big. Um, we hit a new monthly high of downloads on Composer, which is really cool because we actually hit a new high just like 2 months ago, and then now we're at a new high. So that's pretty cool. Two new sponsors: an Open Collective, ActiJet, and Funule. I hope I got the name correct. Good. And then monthly high views on YouTube as well. So basically, January was just really huge. There was just so much that happened in January, and there's a lot more I actually even forgot to put here. So yeah, thank you guys for all of this. But this is like pretty much all community stuff. So yeah. So what's next in February? I've kind of already talked about this. We have Leaf MVC4 beta tomorrow, hopefully. Wait, did I say tomorrow? The CLI will come out tomorrow, so yeah, maybe Monday. Let's see how that goes. Paper Planes release also in February. Leaf Zero, free UI kit for Leaf and Leaf MVC. Leaf Sprouts, the console I just showed you, that's also coming out hopefully tonight or tomorrow. And then Leaf Billing with Stripe and Paystack. It was also supposed to support Lemon Squeezy, um, but I haven't yet gotten to that. I'm still working with just Stripe and Paystack. And then more documentation and tutorials. Um, yeah, speaking of more documentation and tutorials, last week we worked on building a Leaf MVC4 application. It was just like a social note sticking up. So like you write your notes and everyone who has an account can see your notes. Um, so I was thinking of building the same thing with Leaf. Since we built it with Leaf MVC, it will be kind of cool to build the same thing with Leaf. Because I realized we have 3 tutorials. All of the tutorials we have for Leaf are like version 2. Yeah, I think they're like version 2 tutorials. Yeah. So that'll be like just something small for people who are kind of confused on how to structure their Leaf apps and stuff like that. So hopefully that also comes out this week. No, next week. This week is ending, so the next week. Um, Hopefully I'll be able to edit it fine, but editing sucks. Editing sucks so much. Okay, so the performance, security, developer experience. We kind of talked about that, and yeah, we're also planning to host our second ever Leaf event. I don't have any details on it yet, but then hopefully soon. Um, so yeah, if you're not already supporting, please support Leaf on GitHub or Open Collective, or just buy Paper Plane, and yeah, help us with this. So it's kind of like something I really want to do this year. I think our last event was in 2022 or 3. I don't really remember when it was. Maybe yeah, I think like 2 years ago, probably. Um, yeah, so it'd be fun to kind of do another one. Anyway, anyway, um, yeah. So as I mentioned, it's all like really huge community stuff, and none of it would have been possible without you guys. So thank you, and a big shout out to you all. And keep on sharing Leaf, keep on doing all that you do. Um, yeah. So we have a lot coming up in February, and we'll need all the help we can get. So if you notice anything off, and you can open a PR or just share your issue, that would help big time. I'm usually on Discord. I wasn't active much this week because I kind of had a lot to do, a lot to work on. Um, but yeah, if you do have any issues, please just hit me up on Discord. And you'd always be able to reach out to me over there. So yeah, that's pretty much Leave for January 2025. Um, yeah, I don't think there's anything new that I don't think there's anything from you guys. I don't look like there's anything here. So I'll just probably end this for today. This was another short hangout. I didn't plan for a short hangout. Um, I planned for something a bit more interesting, but um, unfortunately I have to run. So uh, yeah, this was a short. But then this everything we've done for like January, and um, there's a lot more coming up, which I'm pretty happy about. Yeah. So that's it for me, guys. Wait, did I? So we were initially putting up people playing for like a 20%, 25% off discount type of thing. But then we are doing that for like 50, so 50% discount for the next 30 orders, if I remember right. So yeah, the next 30 orders have like a 50% off. So this will probably be like the best chance to get it. Which is also a way of supporting me. Thank you guys. Um, Symphony. Yeah. So that's pretty much everything I have for you guys for today, and I would catch you in our next hangout. I will probably have the Leaf video I talked about on YouTube before our next hangout, because that's something I've kind of postponed for a while. So yeah, you can count on that. And well, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's it for today, and I will catch you guys next week or in a video. So that's it, guys. Later.